Yo, what up? Welcome back. Today's video is about two very powerful positions in two very powerful tanks. One of them, of course, is the Chieftain T95 or any kind of hull down tank, to be honest with you. And the other one we will do is we'll start off with the Object 430U. Of course, we're talking about positions, we're not talking about tanks. So these positions can work in almost any kind of tanks. As long as you are in that position, you will do fairly well in the kind of circumstances that you are probably in. So let's jump straight into the first video. But first, let me get you to subscribe and hit the notification button, especially if you're here for the mod pack that I frequently update, especially if you're interested in getting quick updates on the mod pack that I do. So here we are in Westfield in the 430U. Now, it's not common that you play the 430U in any kind of competitive environment, clan wars or advances. But I jumped at the chance of using my 430U because I don't get to play it very often. And this is actually the first time that I've played this position. I've never played this position even in pub battles or in any kind of tanks. But I've seen people play these positions, but I've never found them to be, I never paid much attention to it, but I can see the reason why a lot of people use these positions. Now, especially if you are like in a competitive environment where you are pushing your south team towards the north, and you're kind of like defensive on the K line, which is exactly what my team is doing. So we have tanks pushing up the K line to do the spotting and stuff, but the teams have spotted our teams, mainly our heavies, up on the north side, so they're taking the low ground on the middle of the map, which leaves them completely open to me. Now, this tank, the 430U, why is it picked to play this position? Well, one of the reasons is because it has a good armor profile that is really useful for playing in kind of hull down positions. It has a trollish armor. It has 300 millimeters of frontal turret armor and 160 hull armor frontal. It does 340 penetration on the heat shells, which is basically the standard shells that you use when you're playing competitively. The standard AP shells, however, only have 252 millimeters of penetration, which is more than enough. Well, it is useful and it's more than enough for your regular pub games. But in clan wars, in competitive environments, you're basically going to run 100% premium shells. Now, I completely ignored that EBR 105 that was scouting my position because I have to trust my teammates to handle them while I completely focus on damaging these guys in front of me. I'm basically shooting these guys for free. They can't do nothing to me because I am not spotted at all. I was momentarily spotted by that EBR 105, but after that EBR has died, a couple of seconds after that, I go dark again, and basically I am completely safe. Now, these guys, they have no idea. They know I'm here, but they can't pick me up because, number one, I am kind of like protected by the rock, and I'm kind of hull down and angled towards them. Even if even if they can pinpoint my exact location, they can't reliably pen me all of the time. Because one, there is a rock in the way, and number two, I am fairly hull down with my armored, with my tank kind of angled towards them. As you can see, I've kind of angled my tank a little bit, so I have a high probability of bouncing them. Now, while I'm keeping them occupied, my team is just running them down. Now, of course, the guys that were alone by themselves on the K line, the medium tanks, they have been taken care of by the enemy teams. We had a couple of casualties on the K line, but they couldn't rush towards me because I was too far protected. And by the time we deal with everyone, we have an overwhelming success on the map. now it's just a matter of cleaning them up. Now if you look at the damage potential, I've done I think more than 5k damage here, just because we executed this plan fairly well. Now you can use this position even in random maps. You can take it as a primary position if you wanted to play a defensive side, a defensive K-line side. If all your team ran up to the north, you could play defensive on the K-line on this side. Or in another situation, if you are in a medium or light tank, or you are regressing, you are running away from the enemy team, this could be one of the positions that you fall back on. Like if you were attacking the K line, you could fall back somewhere to the K5, you know where the hull down position is, and once the enemy teams keep pressuring you, you could fall back to that position where I was in your final position to defend yourself, to make your last stand. So those are the kind of scenarios where you can use that position. Now on to the next map, and of course also the next tank. This time I am in the reward tank, the Chieftain FV4201 reward tank. Now of course a lot of people got this tank recently also because the campaign was just over. A lot of people would have picked this tank or the 907 as a reward tank. We get kind of stuck here in mines. This is a mistake. You shouldn't get stuck at this corner. The position that I want to show you is right ahead of me on the right side of the rocks. This is where you want to go. Now the enemy is kind of good. They know what they're doing. They have the right idea. They're going to rush across and try to deal with us, but they made a little bit of a mistake. What they are doing right now, pushing forward, is actually a good idea, but they made kind of like a fatal mistake here by pushing blindlessly without focusing fire. Now they should have pushed over and focused and killed two of us here, but instead they're driving right past me. So what I'm gonna do is run away and go to the primary position that I want to go to, but first let me try and unload one more shot on this guy. And this is the position I'm talking about. This is one of the strongest positions, especially if you are playing on the north side of the map. You can use this position in random maps. You can use this position in competitive gameplay, clan wars, advances. This is a great position, especially if you have 10 degrees of gun depression, super conquerors, any kind of hull down tanks, chieftains. You are basically impenetrable here. You have the mobility, you have the gun depression to deal with anybody. And this 60 TP, he's trying to support his team that has pushed over. They could have done a better job at cleaning up the team. What they should have done was focus their fire down. They had the upper hand temporarily, but they made a mistake of not focusing their fire, which means that gave me an opportunity to run away, get into this hull down position, and you can see the other FV4, the other chieftain right next to me. Now the game is already almost over. All I need to do is just drive forward and clean up this game. Really quick game. All I needed to do was just make sure that as they were pushing towards my side, which is the right thing for them to do, they let me escape, and I pushed forward and drove on the opposite side of them, and we managed to clean up this game fairly easily. Remember these two positions on the map, or one on the west field and the other one on mines. I hope you enjoyed this video and took a little bit of knowledge, or took a little bit of experience that I could share with you, and apply it to your random battles games or your clan wars, advances games. Use the kind of tanks and put them into positions where you have the upper hand and opportunity to keep your gun firing in a safe position and max out your damage potential basically for you and your team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.